So the straight answer of how to fix a dropper post that won't come all the way back up is to add pressure. You gotta get a shock pump, you gotta take off your saddle, find the valve and pump up the post to the recommended pressure. At least that's what I did, and it worked. There we go, we got post. So thumbs up for the time-saving answer, first and foremost in the video. There is an index that kind of like breaks down different parts of the video in the description if you just want to save time and skip to a different part. But this is going to show you my problem, it's going to show you my solution, it's going to show you the pump that I used, and kind of a raw DIY video. The dropper post that I was working on was a Raceface Aeffect. This method will probably work for multiple dropper posts. My name's Eric, thanks for watching, and let's get into the tutorial. Let's get into the symptoms of what was going on with my bike when I was riding. So I would press my drop lever and it would drop perfectly fine because it's your weight on this seat post that allows it to drop. But then when I wanted it to rise, I would press this and I would take my weight off the back. Mine would go up maybe a little bit like that, and then I would press in my dropper lever again. I'd have to reach behind me while I'm riding, one-handed, and pull it up the rest of the way. It just kept getting stuck. And I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna do to fix it. And if this video is published, it means it worked. So please give the video a thumbs up. Hopefully it works for you. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and let's get this Santa Cruz Chameleon back on the trail with the dropper post working. So I headed over to Amazon and I ordered something I think that will help me fix the problem, and that is this shock pump. This is the Giyo shock pump. It uses Schrader valve. I think most or all shock pumps use. It has an engagement lever to completely seal off the tip when you are pumping up your shock. It has a bleed valve, it's got a pressure gauge, and it's got a pump. It's not super small, it's not going to fit in a hip pack comfortably, but it will fit in a small backpack perfectly fine. But we're just gonna be using it right now at the house to fix the dropper post. This was, I wanna say this was like $27 on Amazon. It had good reviews, but it's hard to tell these days if it's real reviews or fake reviews or what, but I figured I'll give it a chance. I could review the zip ties on here, they're terrible. Scissors aren't working. You gotta get out the big dogs, the wire cutters. You may or may not need wire cutters to cut the zip tie. So here's a better look at our shock pump. This fully swivels. We'll see how this thing works. Now we gotta get to the air valve on our dropper post. For that, you're gonna need a hex tool. And then if I look inside there, you can see my left screw is in a little bit farther than my right screw. So do take note of that when you're taking off your screw, well, when you're taking off these bolts. It's actually kind of tricky getting the second bolt off. I'm having to pull up to engage a nut in order to get the tension to pull it off. So you may or may not run into the same problem depending on the way your dropper post is designed. Okay, now that we've got those pieces removed, there is like a cap to take off, and there is my Schrader valve. On the back of my post right here, on the back right side, it says 230 to 250 PSI. I'm guessing that that is low, it's just like leaked out over time, and that the pump is going to repressurize this, and then it's gonna be working again as it should. So we're gonna take our pump in the open position, that's the closed position, that's the open position, and I'm just going to line it up and thread it onto that valve until it's about hand tight, and then I'm going to flick that to the on position. And if you can see right there, our pressure gauge is at about 50 PSI. It's about at a quarter, less than a quarter of what it's supposed to be at, which means it's very probable that this was the problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pump it up to the recommended 230. I'm at 200. It doesn't take very many pumps. I'll put it at 240. And if you go over a little bit, you can use this bleeder valve right here, and it'll take out a couple PSI for you. Once you're done, you flick this into the open position and then do the reverse of what you did earlier. Twist that off. And now before we reattach anything, we're gonna do a test. See if it goes all the way up. There we go, we got post. All I did was increase the pressure to the recommended pressure, and now our dropper post is now working again. I didn't have to grease anything, although you're probably supposed to maintain and grease it. I did not grease anything. All we did was add the recommended pressure and we are good to go. Now I'm just going to reverse install everything that we took off, which is the dust cap and our actual seat. So I'm pressing down on the nut as I get the initial thread in, and I'm gonna do the same on the back. Press down on that nut to get the initial thread in. And now I'm just threading it in as much as I can by hand. And then go back to your 5mm tool, go back and forth. Go back and forth to tighten your seat and everything should be good to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. I am a pretty beginner mountain biker, so don't like tear me apart for doing something wrong in this. But that is what I suspected was wrong with the bike, and that's what was wrong with the bike. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this will help somebody that has the same Raceface Aeffect seat post dropper or something similar. It should be a lot of the same process. Hopefully this video will help somebody else out when their seat post dropper, their seat come upper isn't coming up all the way. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.